Hey guys, this is Emily Johnson, NTP, with Dimensional Health and with Gracious Healing. This is my first video on this brand new channel. I'm really hoping to be able to use this platform to help provide you the information that has been helpful to both my health, to my kids' health, and our journeys, as well as other people that I've been able to work with, and just kind of encompassing mind, body, and soul, and just how we can look at all three aspects of those to just create a really healthy foundation to be able to just have a life that thrives. My story started when I was quite a bit younger. I always had this desire and dream that I was gonna be something big, that I was gonna have these big aspirations to go to college, to have this great career. And unfortunately, then in high school, that felt stripped away from me as my symptoms continued to increase and my health just got worse and worse. In and out of doctor's appointments, constantly running tests all the time, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. I at some point learned to just kind of live with it and just felt that this was my destiny. Really went into survival mode and just kind of put my head down and did what I had to do with as much energy as I was able to, and then just kind of ended up on the couch for the rest of it. I was able to have the privilege to get married at a very young age, and then right at our first year wedding anniversary, we got pregnant. And within 2.5 years, we had 2 babies, and we had had a miscarriage in between. That kind of sent me on this terrible spiral into making my health to the point where I couldn't even get off the couch most days. I have very little memory of kind of what happened, just because I was just in such a deep survival mode, doing what I had to do to keep my kids alive and to be able to just kind of live life. Something stirred in me one day as I was in the car with an 8-month-old in the back seat, as well as a 2-year-old. My body went into a seizure, which was pretty normal for me. Thank the Lord we had not pulled out of the driveway yet. And sitting in that car, I really felt like the Lord just stirred in my heart this desire to stop, to just lay down this narrative of just survival, to lay down this narrative of that I would always be consumed in, that I would always be destined to live out these diagnoses, these symptoms, that this was just who I was, that He asked me to just lay that down, that I would instead pick up this life that figured out how to thrive, to have this abundant life, that there are superheroes in each and every one of us, and sometimes we just have to figure out how to overcome those hurdles in our life to be able to kind of open up this superpower that He has given us. So from that day forward, I just really dove into this understanding of how God designed our bodies and what are the things in our life that were holding me back. What were the things that maybe no one had diagnosed, or things that had held me back. One thing that I think is really important on anybody and any journey is understanding someone's why. I think whys can be really important. If our why is not big enough, then we will wake up in the morning and we will kind of forget why we're doing what we're doing. When we hit those hard roadblocks, we're going to forget why we need to power through those roadblocks. If we don't have a big enough why and we don't review our why on a consistent basis, for me, my why was truly my children and my husband. Like, to understand that if I was on the couch and I could not get up and do life with them and do hikes with them and be at baseball games and basketball games and sit and read books with them and go on bike rides with them, that I was going to miss out. And they were my initial drive as to why I needed to get better, why I needed to spend the time to figure out how I could bring healing to my life, how I could get up off the couch, that I could take the pain that was just surrounding my body and take the seizures, that I could put them aside. What did I need to do in order to find that thriving moment and the balance of where I had more energy than even when I was younger? I needed to figure that out. That tended to morph a little bit as I worked with them and saw their health issues and just heard such staggering statistics on my kids and just this next generation coming up, and how they are not expected to outlive my generation and the older generations, and how the statistics of, looking at, projections of, 2030 was going to be like 1 in every 3 kids would be autistic or on that autism spectrum of some sort. And just what did that look like for my kids and their generation of these kids rising up who were just so incredibly sick, and who was going to take care of them if my generation did pass away, and then you have a generation of kids who can't necessarily take care of themselves. And so that then kind of became my second driving why. I wanted to be able to empower this generation to change those tides and change those statistics. And through the process of me finding healing and me finding just a new narrative for my life to be able to tell the enemy that he didn't get a claim over who I was, it also led me to understand that unfortunately my children I had passed things on to my children on top of just some injuries that they had and things that were creating again a life for them that I was seeing that was just full of diagnosis and excuses for why maybe they were the way they were, and I didn't want that for them either. So I feel like as the Lord healed me in an emotional sense and gave me this immense desire to fight and to thrive and to be very intentional about my days, he also showed me that I could offer the same thing to my kids, that I could help them understand who he made them to be and what hurdles they may have to overcome. And maybe it would be dietary restrictions or supplements or lifestyle changes that we needed to be intentional about, but to be good stewards of the lives that we were given. And then to be able to take these kids and give them a life that was not destined to be just survival. That my hope is then to be able to take that story, to be able to empower others to lay down the narrative of just being a body full of symptoms and just a diagnosis or a genetic, these are just my genetics and this is just kind of the life I have to live, to be able to lay that down, to empower you and to empower others to be able to pick up this narrative of thriving. Everything from your mind, body, and soul to be able to just thrive and to live a life of abundance. One thing we've definitely learned on this journey is as much as we would love for healing to just be a linear line, unfortunately it's not. Kind of the analogy of the onion, as we peel back layers both on my health and my children's health, new things arise. As we do life, sometimes we're introduced to new things, new toxins and chemicals, and unfortunately, that line of healing, both emotionally and physically, is not linear. It often goes up and down, and we definitely take 2 steps forward, but there are definitely times where we take steps backwards. And so my encouragement to so many people out there is, if you feel that you're at that point where you know something is wrong, but everyone keeps telling you, that it is fine or everything is in range. My challenge is to reach out to me. It's turned into my passion, right? I want to be able to help others, to empower you, to be able to help lead you down a path of healing, down a path that thrives, that you are no longer stuck in this survival mode, but that you wake up every day excited to see what the day will bring, that you can bring your families closer together. It's really challenging to be excited for the day, excited about motherhood, excited about your kids, when you wake up with this dreadful feeling that you know what today is going to bring. And you know you're going to be tired, or you're going to fight your child on things, and you don't know where the answers are, and you don't know where to look. And that can be very depressing and discouraging. It can be incredibly difficult to even want to get out of bed sometimes. But my challenge is to find somebody, find me, find someone else who believes you, who's going to walk alongside and hold your hand and be able to give you that life that thrives, that abundant life that empowers you to live above just survival. So I want to challenge you right now to put the phone down, shut down any distractions that you may have, grab a pen and a paper, and really sit down and write your why you need to get better, why you need to lay down this narrative for yourself or for your child, to be able to lay down this narrative of just survival mode, to lay down that diagnosis, to lay down that overwhelming genetic, this is just my predisposition, this is what I'm going to be stuck with for the rest of my life, to lay that down and to fight for your health, to fight for your thrive. I encourage you right now to do that, to write your why down and then put it in a place where you see it every day. I'm really excited to share my journey with you and to also just walk with you on your journey to healing. So let's get started.